What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Counting Wisdom podcast. Thanks so much for checking this out. I will try to post a video because I know sometimes videos are a little bit better than just strictly audio. Today is Monday, the 22nd of April, and 2024, and so I wanted to talk about a false sense of urgency for the rapture, in that sometimes I think a spirit can come over us in some way where we have this sense of urgency for the rapture, which I think is understandable, but we can sometimes think in our own mind, based on our own thoughts, that the rapture is, tomorrow, or, the rapture is, some time that we have sort of thought about on our own mind. Now, I do think we shouldn't sort of get rid of the sense of urgency, because, I think that is important. But as far as telling others, that we know the date of the rapture, or listening to people when they say they know that the end of the world is, right around the corner, I think that is good, but also we have to be careful not to, create a sense of panic in people that, one, I think everyone who's going to go in the rapture is going to be ready, Now, I do think our messages can be helpful. I know that I have worked on certain sins, past few years. I've, turned away from different things, and, overcame, certain struggles, and still, fighting against certain things. But, as far as faith in Jesus Christ, I think, there's not a place that you can go, or even over the internet, or even on television, where you can't, hear a message about Jesus Christ, at least in America. But I hear, even in countries like, that are, I don't know, like some country over in the Asia colonies, or, South America, they still have, access to the internet and different things like that. One of the things that I think Starlink is going to do is pretty much give everyone access to the internet that's on planet Earth. If that's Elon Musk, he's doing satellite internet. And so, sometimes we wonder about the connectivity that is, described in Revelation, where people are able to see, some of the events that described in Revelation, and see them instantly. Well, we do already kind of have that connectivity, but I think Starlink, the satellite internet, is going to really connect the world, and really connect people in a way that, is similar to today, but just, I think, more people, and especially remote areas, are going to have that constant internet connection. And so, anyway, got kind of off track there, but the false sense of urgency, one thing I think we have to fight against is sort of trying to listen to God, or trying to listen to, the Spirit of God, and what He's telling us. And, we can sometimes, I think, have some sort of false sense of urgency in the short term. Like, we're telling people, hey, I know the rapture is next week. Now, I think there is definitely urgency. 2020 was 4 years ago, but it still wasn't that long ago. During the COVID pandemic, a lot of people were woken up to the fact of the rapture and, end times. And I think that was a major milestone. And so, I think that, there is a sense of urgency. If the rapture is 2024 or 2025, that's really not that far away from when we, had that worldwide pandemic. It's really not that far, but we don't know. That's the other thing, is we just don't know when the rapture is. And so I think we have to really, utilize that self-control, because, I think I've noticed myself, sort of having, I think, almost like an obligation of, hey, I got to tell somebody, that the rapture is soon. And I think we should have the obligation, though, to tell people about Jesus Christ, but not trying to sort of pick out when we think the rapture is going to be. Now, another thing that I wanted to mention in today's podcast, I think I wanted to talk about some of the signs of the times, and I forgot a little bit about the other subject that I wanted to talk about, just because there's so much going on. But one of the things that I think the signs of the times show us is that things are ramping up, and I think more and more as the years go on, from that 2020 milestone of the pandemic, we only see the world just getting more and more chaotic. And it's not like after the pandemic there would have been just like a peace. One of the things that I think we're leading up to is sort of people being able to say peace and safety, and then sudden destruction will come on them, and so being able to say peace and safety, I think, is going to have to happen, whether it be through new technology, whether it be through the robotics that come on. And everyone has a robot that's helping their life get easier. Maybe we don't have to work as many hours but still get the same pay. I think there's going to be something that happens that in the world where people are like, okay, now we can sort of deal with these problems. Or maybe there's not, it's not going to be maybe no problems in the world, but I think it's going to be sort of this false sense of security where people are just like, okay, yeah, now we made it, to a good place in history. And, we have peace, we have safety. And so, that's one thing that I think we have to sort of guard against. And I think that, maybe the signs of the times will slow down too. Maybe there won't be, a lot of like volcano eruptions or earthquakes, or, maybe those things will slow down too, enough for people to say peace and safety, and then sudden destruction is going to come on them. And so, one of the things I think that we just have to do is sort of, make sure that we're using that sense of urgency. Make sure we're using that urgency to work for us, and tell people about Jesus, but also we're using it in the right way to not be too date setter minded. And so thanks so much for checking out this podcast today. Hopefully this was helpful to someone. Hopefully you got something from it, and I will talk to you on the next one. See ya.